Hey guys, guess what? It's Angel. You're watching my latest video, and some of you may be wondering, is she ever going to get back on? Is she ever going to post another video? Um, the answer is yes. I'm here. I'm alive. I survived. And I'm sorry it's been so long. If you haven't watched my previous video where I talk about my surgery, uh, it took a lot out of me. So it's been, my surgery was in, no, my last surgery was in November. So it's been almost, see, we're going into May. We are in May. Today's May 1st, I think. Yes. So it's been 6 months, a little over 6 months ago that I had my surgery. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But it has been kind of hard. It's been kind of hard. I'm not going to lie. I had the surgery, been recovering. It's for any of you who have had surgery, which a lot of you have, it's not anything new, not anything that is unique to me, but it takes a lot out of you, and it takes sometimes up to 6 months for you to feel like you're back to your normal self and that you have like energy to do things. And I'm still kind of getting there. And it takes a toll on your mental health because you don't feel well, because you don't have energy. And for those of us who have bipolar, I'm going to be preaching to the choir here, but you guys know we already don't have a lot of energy. So to deal with that, and then also deal with surgery, taking that, sucking more life out of you, it just has taken a while for me to kind of get my bearings about me. And so it's just been a lot. I mean, I've been isolating. I've been staying at home because it feels like my safe space. I haven't felt really great about myself because I haven't felt well. I put on 20 pounds. So that makes me feel not super great about myself. So I'm working on losing that weight. I have had my roller coaster of emotions. I've had, some mixed episodes. I've had a deep depression episode. And so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that. You guys know what that's like. So for me, mania for me looks different than it has in the past. When I was younger and unmedicated, mania for me was euphoric. It was, I was on the top of the world. I was the smartest and funniest person in the room. I was talking a mile a minute, talking about going from one subject to the next, and none of the things I talked about really fit together to anybody that I was talking to. But for me, everything fit perfectly together. But I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like in my mind, I would be talking about one thing and then it would remind me about something else that was a great idea that I had thought about. And then I would talk about that, and then that would remind me of another wonderful idea. So it was like, I had all of these amazing ideas that just were fabulous, and I had to share them with everybody. And I just had a tremendous amount of energy, and it just was like I was like a ball of energy, and I could work for hours, and I was creative. And that was when I was younger and I was not medicated. I did not get my diagnosis until 2013. And so I was like 40 years old. And so I got my diagnosis really late in life because I just turned 50. which has been a trip to turn 50. Um, it's just kind of rocked my world. But anyway, that's another story. Um, so I got my diagnosis late in life. I wish I had gotten it way earlier and been medicated way earlier, but that just did not happen for me. So, um, but once I got my diagnosis and I got on medication, my mania has changed. Now my mania looks like irritability, agitation. Um, it looks like the jumpiness was really more euphoria. That was more like early on when I was like super jumpy. It's like I had so much energy that like you could startle me very easily. So that was more early on. Now it's like irritability, agitation. Still, I do still feel on edge sometimes when I am manic. The jumpiness is really still there. But my episodes now, I don't deal with mania as much as I deal with mixed episodes. And I've done a video on mixed episodes. I'm going to link that below. If you haven't seen that video, it's actually one of my more popular or most watched videos. And I talk about mixed episodes in that and how they manifest in me. I probably deal with those way more than I deal with manic or depressed episodes. My depressed episodes look about the same whether I'm medicated or not. They just come less frequent as they did before. So my depressed episodes I put them kind of in two categories. I have like surface level depression, and then I have deep depression. My surface level depression is kind of like what I deal with most of the time. And my deep depression is like I can't get out of bed, I can't shower, it lasts for a week at a time. And yes, I know some people deal with it for more than a week at a time. For me, a week is a long time to deal with a deep depression. A week in bed is a long time. And it's hard. It's rough. It's rough not just on me, but it's rough on my family. And that's probably the hardest time. The surface depression is hard too. It wreaks havoc on my the way I feel about myself. It mentally, obviously, mentally is hard, and you guys know this. So depression for me is not just mental but physical. The mental aspect of it is that I feel like a burden. I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm fake because I have to hide it from people. So people that don't know that I deal with it, I have to pretend like I'm happy and I'm good and everything's cool. So then it makes me feel like a fake and a phony, which I don't like that. I hate that because if I'm not being authentic to others, then I feel like I'm not being authentic to myself. And therefore, that just really makes me unhappy. But at the same time, I don't want to bring other people down. So if I'm in a depressed episode and I'm around other people, I feel like I have to put on that front. So it just comes with a lot. And when you're in it for a long period of time, my dog's in here with me, so you may hear her. Maddie, lay down. You're fine. When you deal with that for a long period of time, it really wears on you. And so, going back to my surgery and just feeling physically like crap and not having energy to get up and move around, and then also having physical limitations or having restrictions put on me by my doctor, things that I was not allowed to do, really intensified the depression for me. And so I went into a deep depression, and I feel like it took it lasted for like a month. It lasted. And I just felt really overwhelmed, really overwhelmed. And I felt like it was never going to stop. I was never going to get out of it. And I felt, yeah, just completely overwhelmed and sad, just really sad. And I'm glad to be out of it. It's very, it's overwhelming, and yeah, I'll say that. Sorry, I feel like I have a Maddie hair right here. Okay. So if you haven't watched my previous video, just to kind of recap and let you know, in November I had a reconstructive surgery. I had gone through a mastectomy, which I was really quiet about that to the people that I know, because I felt a sense of embarrassment about it. I don't know why I had that feeling, but I felt a sense of embarrassment. And I wasn't really frightened or scared about the surgery. I just wanted to get it done. I had a total of 7 biopsies, one of them being surgical, and they wanted to do another surgical biopsy on me. And the reason that I had 7 is they kept finding suspicious areas every time they would do. I was under surveillance. So what that is I had a mammogram that they didn't like. So then they did an ultrasound that they found 2 areas on each side that they wanted to biopsy. So they did that. So that's 4 biopsies right there, 4 spots that they biopsied. And then 2 of them came back that they didn't like. So they wanted to do a surgical biopsy. So that's a 5th biopsy. And then the other 2 on this one side came back suspicious enough that they wanted to surveil them, but they didn't feel like they needed to go in surgically, but they wanted to check them in 6 months. So I came back 6 months later. They did another ultrasound, and they found 2 other spots that they wanted to then biopsy. So they did that. So now that's 7 biopsies that I underwent, and then they decided that they wanted to take out further tissue, so they wanted to go in surgically. So that would have been like 8 biopsies at that point. So technically a lumpectomy is what they wanted to do. But in the meantime, while all these different biopsies were going on, I had done genetic testing, and the genetic testing came back for BRCA2. Everybody carries the BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes in their bodies, but it's when you have a mutation in that gene, because they are tumor suppressant genes. But when you have a mutation in that gene or one of those genes, then your body has an ability to grow tumors. So I came back with a variant of unspecified significance in BRCA2. So it's like they don't have enough information on my particular variant to say if it's going to be a bad variant or a good variant. So, but when it comes to breast cancer and my family history of cancer in both breast and ovarian, and where I had all of these biopsies, it's just like they were like, we just need to take care of this. So that's what we did. And so anyway, I had the mastectomy, and then they do the reconstructive surgery like 6 months later. So that's kind of what my whole last year was. And it was hard. It was very hard. It was a hard process. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that I've healed and that I'm on my way. And now I have another surgery coming up in July. So I'm kind of going to be laying low this year. I say that, and hopefully I can still put out some content, some videos, and I'll let you guys know how I'm doing. But that's kind of what's going on, because the BRCA gene doesn't just cause breast cancer. It can also cause ovarian cancer. It can cause prostate cancer, which obviously I don't have to worry about that, but it can cause pancreatic cancer and colon cancer. So, you know, I can only mitigate, a couple of things, but those things that I can mitigate, I'm going to do that. So that's kind of, this video I feel like is all over the place, and it's long. We're coming up on like 15 minutes. So anyway, that's what's going on. I do have a couple of ideas for a few more videos. I can't promise that they're going to come soon. I hate doing that, but if I can get them out before my surgery, I'm really, really going to try hard to do that. I know I have new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. It really does mean a lot to me that you've subscribed, and I'm glad to see you here. So with that, guys, I am going to end the video, but I hope this finds you well. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, and until we talk again, bye.